I remember years ago, Sid talked about doing nothing. Talk about doing, and it was very intriguing. And when I look back, I have a giggle and I think how stupid I am, because when he'd say do nothing, the first time he talked about it, I actually went home and sat and did nothing.
Yeah.
And did it work?
Well, I got very bored and frustrated.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Because there were things I wanted to do.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Right.
And then I felt so stupid because I realized that's not what he meant, do nothing.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't mean do nothing. And so the whole, the sentence or the phrase of doing without doing, you know, it's like, that's another one. It's like doing without doing. And I know it has to, it's about the mind and thought and the intention, and it is how I see it. But I wanted to know how you saw it.
It's a phrase, when Sid mentioned that so many years ago in the early days, that captivated me because it seemed impossible.
Yeah.
How can you do without doing? And yet I got a feeling for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so even though it really puzzled me and left me confused, it still struck me as very meaningful. And I thought, gosh, I would like to do without doing, because I was such a doer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's interesting because I just was talking with the group this morning about going deeper. And it came to this doing without doing, how we're already what we're looking for. And the more we trust that we're being guided by mind, to me, that's the biggest thing, being guided by mind. And the more we trust that, the more we're in the moment, the more we do without doing. Things unfold. It's like how insights, we don't make insights happen. Insights come about without doing anything.
Yeah.
They just appear.
It's kind of like a path that you take. That's how I see it. It's kind of a path that goes to somewhere meaningful.
Well, you know, you know, since your event, you know, since, you know, your stroke and all of the healthcare issues that we've had, you know, things will, you know, I'll think, I need help, and I need help in this way. I need help in that way. And I don't know how I'm going to get it, and I don't know where it's going to come from. But when my mind goes to the feeling and the intent of wanting help, somebody shows up.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm not.
You're not on your own.
Well, and I'm not looking through the yellow pages or trying to figure out what to do, or making phone calls and trying to find people. It's like, it's a feeling and a thought and an intention, and then someone or something happens that's helpful.
Yeah. I love that about the feeling, because it's for me, the feeling has always been the teacher. It's not been the words.
Yeah.
And especially in my early learning with Sid, his words were very frightening to me.
Yeah.
But it was the feeling that he lived in. It was observing him enjoy life in a way that he hadn't before, and that I hadn't seen others enjoy so fully, where it felt like whatever he was doing in his yard, you know, cutting the lawn or pruning roses or whatever, he was doing that without doing. He was gaining understanding in that doing without doing, you know?
Yeah.
It was effortless to him. And I'd never ever seen that quality of living.
Oh, I see where you're pointing to, Elsie. Where you're pointing to is that in living life from a certain feeling, you gain understanding. Just in the living,
In the course of,
well, living in
Yeah.
that feeling, you gain understanding, as opposed to so many people do so many things, and they do a lot of things in the pursuit of understanding. So they're doing things in the pursuit of understanding. But I think what Elsie's pointing to is that living in the feeling and living your life, you gain understanding.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and that's what I hear you two saying. That, you know, as you've gone through your physical health issues and so on, you had the thought, but you weren't necessarily going out there and scrambling through yellow pages and all that.
yeah,
But it was like, that was the message, that was the need. And I honestly, I do feel we're taken care of at a spiritual level. That's what I feel Sid was pointing to for himself and for all of us, that it's being done within us in a sense, if we just open to it and trust.
Well, and that's the thing, Elsie, in that feeling of I needed help. It wasn't a feeling of insecurity, like I need help. It wasn't a feeling. There was some feeling of faith and some feeling of trust in life that it would come.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's beautiful and so reassuring for people to know that they don't have to work so hard to get where we already are. Like, we already are hosting this spiritual energy within us.
Mm.
You know, we're already hosting the ability to do without doing and make our way through life with a relative amount of ease, no matter what.
Yeah,
The way you two have gone through what you've gone through.
yeah,
And I'm going through some physical challenges myself. And some days it's better and some days it's not. But I'm just grateful for this understanding, no matter what.
mm.
And what was it you'd said earlier, Linda, about aging?
It's not for it's not for
It's not
sissy.
for, I
Yeah,
love that.
Aging
that's a
is
good,
That ties in very nicely with doing without doing.
yeah, yeah.
absolutely not for sissy. You know, and I'll tell you, it's so interesting to me because the challenges of it and the not knowing of it drives you deeper into yourself,
Mm.
in a not in a negative way, but in a, you have to find deeper answers,
Yeah,
more fundamental truths,
Yeah.
you know, ways of perspective and being circumspect. That, see, there's a way if you dive deep enough, you get a perspective in understanding that calms you.
mm.
You know what I mean? Because you can get concerned and worried about circumstance or appearances or whatever. And if you go deep enough, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It all makes sense. So then you go, well, of course it's this way, or of
Yeah.
course,
Yeah.
you know, that's how it looks given. So I love, you know, one of the things that Sid taught me and all of us that was so helpful, that I appreciate so much, is the understanding of levels of consciousness, because at deeper levels of consciousness, there are better answers.
Yeah.
There's more understanding, and the understanding is what gives you, in my mind, for me, understanding gives me peace of mind
Yeah.
when I understand.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to our time together in
Oh,
September.
I
me
am
too,
too.
me too,
Yeah,
Elsie.
we love working with you.
Yeah,
Elsie.
it's very special.
Yeah, I feel that too, you guys.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was actually there in person 2 years ago, I guess, in September.
2 years, yeah.
Yeah, and you'd gone through what you'd gone through, and I saw the biggest change in both of you that I'd ever
Mhm.
seen. And it absolutely illustrates doing without doing.
Yeah,
'Cause there
Yeah.
was so much, you could have gone out and panicked and did this and did that. And I'm not saying that perhaps there weren't moments, but
There were-
overall,
Yeah.
I felt the depth you both went to.
yeah. Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to talking with whoever joins us, and we'll all learn a little more about doing without doing.
Okay, Elsie.
Okay.